right. The next step of inquiry is to investigate. And for this activity, I've included a template of how to integrate this step. So the Bento Box activity started as actual manila folders of documents that students could look through, and it has had this tactile element to it of them piecing together this mystery. And the Bento Box was born out of COVID and the ability or lack of ability to share things. So the template, which is available, is based on a design by Sandoval. I believe she's out of California, but I will put her in my resources list as well. I always assign students to a slide in this activity, and this is usually a mixed grouping of students of different abilities. Usually it's somewhat based on interest. Then these are the women that are going to be covered. There's 9 women because I wanted to make sure I do have this checklist in my mind. Am I including Native Americans? Am I including African Americans? Am I including Latinas? And then also Asian Americans are often difficult to find, but as often as I can, I want to continue to include their stories. And then the directions are here for students. It's important to remind them of this step 2, that they can make things bigger and then just use Control Z to shrink them down again. So one example of what this looks like is this. In the original template, the questions over on the right could be answered in the actual Google slideshow, but I have students generally work on paper or in notes because they're working on it together. And then I want them to be able to refer back to their notes. But so this is about Zitkala, who's really just an amazing, just whirlwind of activism and things that she overcame. But just as an example of how students can look at the images and make them bigger, bring them to the front, manipulate them, and then just undo and return them back to where they were. So lots of resources to look at. They're required to look at all of the resources before they make some guesses about who their person is and about how they changed the West, or how the West changed them, and what were opportunities and what were obstacles and things like that. So a number of women are represented here, all with primary sources. So that is what this activity is. It's definitely a good group activity. A student could do it by themselves, but I think it's important to have them collaborate and really make some guesses and do some observing and do some analysis. And the way that you can do this yourself is it does take some work. It does take some front loading and thinking about things in advance and collecting these resources. But then that really gives you a chance to work one-on-one with students while they're doing the actual inspection and investigating and trying to draw conclusions. And that's what I love about activities like this.